Howdy. What's up, people? Serene moment. Richard Foreman. Dirty, dirty, rotten. 2 minutes till 9. Give me a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. What's up, Beacon? What's up? Beaconator. There they are. Hey, I sent you the link in Messenger, Ron or Jody. If you want to, I can put in here too. I guess no matter. Thanks, Gary. Dun, 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 dun. There should be some Gander. I want to get into this one, studying some of that stuff today. There's a lot of stuff changed in the Bible. Stuff I didn't even realize. Crazy. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and you got to hold the Bible around. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, come on now.
It was really shocking.
What's going on? Not much, but volume's way down like always. I don't know what's wrong with the damn phone. I'll be right back. I think
See what we got in the chat here. Let me see. I can't see none of this from my phone. See, Dirty Rotten Imbecile, Michigander, the dual beacon of lightning, driver stays super lit. That's pretty cool. Cheers. Let's see, Michigander. Richard Borba, what's up, brother? Serene Moments, cheers. I'm not sure if I've run across him before, but hello, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. We'll look at a cool little book tonight. T-Bird and Reds, what's going on?
hey, T-Bird and Reds. Hopefully I can hear you better now. Yeah.
Getting a bouncing signal there, Sassy.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Kind of echoing a little bit. Yeah, like it does sometimes. A little bit of echo. Mimi C. Look at this. I'm at a loss for words for the first time in months. All right. What we got to talk about here?
Is that any better?
Yes. Yeah, there we go.
Did you look at any of those stuff I sent you, or are you just going to?
Well, we didn't have a whole lot of time. We did look at some of them. Matthew, and we got some of them bookmarked. I was trying to look at my modern King James and just find the point of reference. That's
Yeah, I was. There's a lot of this guy had he had the King James from 1966, and he had a new one, and then he had a 1930 Bible, and it had the Greek, the Greek version, and it said it hadn't changed like the King James had.
Right.
Like in the
Let's see
King
what.
James, it says saying Passover now. It says Easter.
Really.
That makes no sense. You know what I mean? And another thing where it used to say grain, it says corn. Corn wasn't even brought to the Middle East till after people came to the United States.
After 1492, I know exactly correct. Yeah, that was the one I was watching, and as soon as it said that, I'm like, wait a minute.
I know, dude.
Christopher Columbus was the one who discovered North America, the Western Hemisphere, and in the 1400s took corn to Europe. Not
Hey,
2,000 years ago.
Ireland didn't even have potatoes. There was no potatoes before they came here
I
either.
know, North American. There's over 300 varieties of potatoes
Tobacco. Hey,
from
there was
this
no
hemisphere.
cigarettes before they came here. There was no cigarettes. Tobacco
Correct.
came from here too. Isn't that crazy?
Right. Exactly correct.
I knew the Native Americans said they curse a white man for bringing the horse, but they forgive him bringing whiskey, but they forgive him for bringing the horse. Yeah, I mean, because there was no horses either before they came here.
So this version here, I got this from Goodwill. This King James was printed in 97, so about 25 years ago. But then we got the one that was 130 years old.
That's the one that I'm curious how, if it changed.
Yeah, we got a few of them marked. I had to rig up some lighting because the lighting in my kitchen is so poor, but I think it's going to be a little better than in previous times I've shown it.
Hey, that video you did, I wanted to do that song when you were out there cutting the wood. I was like,
so I get all that stuff out of YouTube Studio. It's all copyright free stuff, and you just type in whatever genre and then whatever mood, and then I just go through and just do a bunch of sampling on the music.
That was fun, though. I like watching them. Leanne said she has an 1800s family Bible, and it's not matching up anymore to the King James.
Yeah, I know. Well, what was the one we looked at just a little bit ago where it was talking about the Lord is my shepherd, and then there was another one. Which one was it?
Matthew and Luke.
Matthew and Luke, man. It was like, what?
The Lord's shepherd. I mean, the Lord's
forgive us our trespasses or forgive us our debtors.
I know, dude. And what about the bottles? It said if you don't change old lambskins, they would explode. Right. Well, now that makes no sense to use an old bottle is the same as a new bottle.
Well, not only bottles and what they used to use, they would use the bladder of sheep and lamb and goats and sometimes even cows. But that was the poor man's way of transporting wine and vinegar. This has been going on for thousands of years prior to glass. The Romans really, and some of Babylon did glass, but it was only for the ultra wealthy, never for the common everyday man. What they did though, and this goes back to ancient Greek times when they moved wine or vinegar, they did it in what was called an amphora. Do you know what that is? It's a terracotta vessel. Yeah. So they used amphora. They never used glass. Kings used glass, but that only goes back, I think, I don't know, less than 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little older. I mean, they had desert glass from Egypt and all that, but I mean, actual glass vessels. I mean, to get temperatures hot enough to smelt glass, I mean, that didn't come around for quite a while, I mean, glass smelting, you require super high temperatures.
Like the couch thing, that's the one that really got me was the couch.
Couch?
Couch in the Bible, and the guy that invented the couch is named James Couch or something.
Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't think I heard you correctly, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But Jesus told the disciples that the scriptures would not always stay the same forever.
Do you know what it says in Revelations? I think it's Revelations 20 or 21, what it says about the scripture being tampered with?
Yeah.
You ever read that?
That's a part of that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's got a special punishment in store for those who've messed with his word.
One I've seen where they called it the Mandela effect is actually the unveiling of Jesus Christ's message.
His message?
Yeah, when he talks about the scriptures will change, and you have to have discernment,
Yeah.
And he told the disciples, they said, why do you speak in allegories and parables? And he said, because when he came back away from him, he explained to them what it meant. Because it says that people have a veil over their eyes, just like, and the unveiling, they won't see it because theirs won't come off. You know what
I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of people that are, even when you show them proof, they'll deny it. They just can't accept it.
Well, they asked Jesus when the kingdom was coming back, and he said, well, it won't come back by waiting. You know what I mean?
Give me a second here. I'm trying to get all this. Oh, give me a hand there, Miss Jody, if you would. Having a little bit of technical difficulties. Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Yeah, it's going to slide forward though. It's got to come back, and it's got to sit about right there. Is that going to work, or is it teetering? I don't want it to come crashing down. It's going to be not good. Okay, well, I'm going to need my lovely assistant to stay right there.
Hey, Ray of Sunshine said bottles was always in the King James Version. Wineskins wasn't a word till 1841, and blue letter bottles mean made of leather.
Yeah, you never know, man. There's been so many lies told. So just so y'all know, you're going to have to communicate the comments because I can't see any of it when I'm on over there by the Bible. I have to come back to the computer to look. But welcome, Ray of Sunshine. It's good to have y'all around. All right, so we're gonna go back over here. I'm gonna switch to perspective here on the camera.
Well, the 1300s isn't the Bible though. He said the couch became a word in 1300.
So Matthew 6. So we got the King James. Would you get me that modern King James and open it to Matthew verse 6? So here, this has a side by side, I believe. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, this has a side by side, which is kind of cool because they put this in here so you could see the difference. So it says, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and the Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Pharisees praying out in front of everybody, like, how they.
No, this wasn't. What was the Lord's Prayer? Where was that one? I forget.
Yeah.
I thought that was Matthew 6.
Matthew 6:9.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right here. Yeah. Okay. I was reading above it. My bad. My dyslexia is bothering me. Has been all day. Anyway. After this, it's hard to hold this and read. Give me a second. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. So that's 2 verses we're going to jump across. And see, it picks up mid-sentence here. Before ye ask him, after this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so on earth.
You should say on earth as in heaven.
Right, but there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
As in heaven, so on earth. And in here, it says, thy will be done in earth, in earth, as it is in heaven. And then let's see what the King James, the modern one I have. Matthew 6, verse 9 and 10 into verse 10 says, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So that's exactly the same verbatim. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So these two, this 1997 is the same as this column, which is I guess a more modern version of the King James, where this, I don't even know what to call this version here. I'm sure it's in here somewhere amongst all this, but there's 2 versions of it in here in the New Testament. And that says, thy will be done as in heaven, so on earth. Now, I don't understand, you see all these different changes. Why? Why are they there? Who decided to change it and why? Did that simplify anything? And why did this maker decide to put 2 side by side so you could bear witness to the change? Also, this one's got books of the Apocrypha in it too, by the way. What was the next one? This one here, Corinthians?
It's still Matthew.
Matthew.
It's the verse about the corn.
Where's that one at? Oh, Matthew 12. Okay. So let's get this turned over. Oh yeah, here's a verse about the corn.
Verse 1 through 8.
Verse 1 through 8.
12.
So Matthew 12. 1 through 8. At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were and hungered. That's not even grammatically correct. Were and hungered. What is that?
Yeah.
And began to pluck the ears of corn to eat. Now, what's it say over here? It says corn here too. Ain't that something? It was this season that Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the cornfields, and his disciples were and hungered. And hungered. That is so grammatically incorrect. I don't even know what to say about that. And, I mean, I'm not an English professor by no means, but I mean, when you even say it, it doesn't sound correct. And began to pluck ears of corn to eat. And began to pluck ears of corn and to eat. So there's two variations. I mean, seriously, corn was not in the Middle East 2,000 years ago.
No.
I don't care what you say. Somebody's lying. What's this one?
It's real similar to this one here.
Is it different than both?
I don't think so.
And Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn. Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were and hungered. Where's it at? Right there. And his disciples were and hungered. Okay, so that's exactly the same. And began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. That's the same as this one. And began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. I mean, that is so strange to even word it that way.
Because you can't eat it raw.
Well, you can, but
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, why would you? You know,
yeah.
he can make turn water out of wine. I'm sure he can cook some corn. I'm just saying.
So, like, this whole Bible to me is a proof of the Mandela effect because it's got two side by side, and the overall
The one I really want to know about the lion and the lamb in there. You know, that's the main one everybody
is
talks
that one.
about.
Is that the one in Luke?
You know,
And
you
she
said
brought
away with the lamb. Now it says the wolf. You know?
right. Yes. And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in a swaddling cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. And that's what that is. I'm just flipping by it, so I thought I'd show it to y'all. Pretty cool. All right, so I believe Luke is what you're wanting to see. Is that correct? You gonna help me turn that?
I got it.
This Bible's in rough shape.
Luke 6.
Yeah, this is talking about the corn again. And it came to pass on the Sabbath after the first that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked ears of corn and did eat, rubbing them in their hands. Now it came to pass on a Sabbath, that he was going through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of corn and did eat, rubbing them in their hands. Where's the one with the lion lays down with the lamb? That's the one Sasquatch is wanting to
We
see.
didn't look it up yet.
So what verse is it?
Isaiah.
Lion and the lamb, Isaiah. You want to find it real quick? Give me just a minute, y'all. We're going to find it. We have to take our time flipping to this so we don't tear this book up.
That one blows my mind.
Right? I know the wolf and the lion. I know. Because in here, in this 1997 version, it says wolf.
This is since my child. That's just about 10. I think. 10 years old.
Yeah, I never heard wolf until I read it in the modern version. All the way as a kid, it was never talked about a wolf. It was always talked about lion. Yes.
There's tons of pictures of a lion and a lamb laying together.
I know, they're everywhere through history, and going back as far as I can think, even old Christian paintings and stuff. You know, fairy tales or legend
Hey, well, I've
and
seen
lore
people
and
on
myth.
YouTube call up preachers and ask them all these questions, and then they tell them what it says, and they said, "I guess I was wrong." Instead of the preacher just says they're wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, when I took this Bible into a minister and I asked him about the books of Apocrypha, and he said, "Oh, that's not accepted doctrine, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." I said, "I got a book here that proves it was accepted doctrine in the 1890s." So he's like, "Oh, well, I don't know. We don't accept it any." He said, "Oh, well, we don't accept it anymore." Do you need help still?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just don't want to
He
fall
doesn't
off.
even know why, and he's a preacher. It's kind of like cops don't know the law. They're trying to
Exactly.
force people to use. You know what I mean?
What do you need, Jody?
I'm just trying to see where I'm at, and
Okay.
I need Isaiah.
Yep.
I'm in Numbers.
Okay.
There's Isaiah.
I think Isaiah 35:9 is one of them that talks about it.
He said he thinks it's, well, she's got 11:16 marked, but we'll find it.
Yeah,
He said it might be
Revelation
35:9.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, Revelations, it talks about the lion landing with the lamb too, doesn't it?
And the Lion of Judah is who the lion's supposed to be.
Give me 1 second, Sassy. I'm going to take these headset out. I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
You good?
It's Isaiah 11:6 is what the verse is.
Okay, you figure out what you need, but there's Isaiah. I don't know where to go. I don't know.
Well, it's right there. Isaiah, that's the one you wrote down.
Yeah.
What is that, 11?
11.
It's
And then
11:6.
another one you can have us look at.
Okay.
It's 11:6.
My throat's getting scratchy. I need something to drink. All right.
Hey, on the Google, it says originally answered. What does it mean for the lion to lay down with the lamb? It says a metaphor. The lion and lamb represent classes of people with the meaning that there will be no predators and the powerful will live with and share with the weak. I mean, but it says originally answered because now it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's weird.
Hang on 1 second here. So it's chapter Isaiah 11. That's 12, 11. So this doesn't have Isaiah here. This does not have the side by side. So this is just goes right on from chapter 11 to chapter 12. Let me turn this sideways again, give you a better perspective. Okay, so here's chapter 11, Isaiah. There's Isaiah, chapter 11, and then it goes straight to chapter 12. So it's not the side by side like in the gospel. So it says, what was it, verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. And the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And here, 1997, I believe it's verbatim. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. I think that's a slight different too. Let me reread that. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. And the leopard shall lie down with the kid. So yeah, that's pretty verbatim, and it is verbatim. And the calf and the young lion and the fatling together.
It says it's a great quote, but it's not found anywhere in the Bible. That's what it says.
Right. Yeah, I ain't buying it. Let's see. I got some older. Jody,
What?
can you hand me that box?
Mm-hmm.
I got some other antique Bibles over there. She just stole my cup of tea, y'all.
Oh, sorry.
It's about ready to get medieval up in here. Let's see what we got. I don't know what year this one is. Come over here where I got some better light. I think this is a little bit older. I believe that's 1930. I don't see a date here. Someone hand dated it in the front, 1930. Says it was printed in England. Let me find that. I'm going to set this down. Isaiah.
It says the basic imagery of the wolf intensified since the wolf is the symbol of pagan Rome's founding.
Yeah, right. The twins were said to be born of a wolf and raised by a she-wolf.
It said it was not long before the wolf became a symbol of evil and a threat to those in Christ's flock.
Let me flip over to Isaiah in this other Bible, 1930s. Isaiah 917. Isaiah 11. Got ways to go here. Okay. Yeah, this one says this one.
There's some things in the Mandela effect you're not going to convince me because I'm older than you, and I know it said Luke, I am your father. It didn't say pretend to pray and California dreaming. It was depends, not depend. I mean, there's some things I don't care if God told me it was wrong. I'm not going to back down because I know my memory.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling. So those three are all three of those iterations are the same. What about
It's mainly just changing the spelling of stuff, like spelling and curses. I think it's just another way to divide people, even from the Bible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Something else to argue about.
Yeah, it's another weapon of mass distraction.
Yep, I'm gonna look at this New International Version. It probably says roughly the same thing, but I
The Bible
know.
kind of says it's saying, Jesus' message is coming true.
Yeah, it's crazy,
But
dude.
Jesus said that the Bible scriptures would change. It's in Scripture.
We're lied to so much and so regular. You got to question everything.
Yeah, you have to ask for discernment because it said in these days you can't trust your first instinct even.
No, because what you see right in your face, you can see the lies that surround it.
But there's people that have the veil on that don't see it. No matter what you say, they don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Like when I took this antique Bible into church, and they looked at me like a deer in the headlights.
Well, God said those of little faith and truth will have it taken from them in the end days.
Yeah, so here's a New International Version. It says the same thing. Let's see. There we go. Where's it at? Right there.
Do you remember Nelson Mandela dying a long time ago?
No, I remember him going to prison. That's all I remember.
He was in prison for how many years? 20 or 30 years?
Yeah, 20. I don't know, 20 something.
Would you know he wasn't even out of jail a year and he divorced his wife? He couldn't take it.
Yeah, divorced her and then he became president.
I know. But I saw a
Roger
picture of him standing up with Hitler. Kind of freaked me out.
Is there something else you want me to look up? What do you got? What else you got?
I don't know. It's just, it's really, I've never looked at it that much with anybody because there's enough stuff to look at it, but I don't know what to think of it all. What's the point of it?
Right, I know, because you know somebody's playing. You know something like, this is what I always point to in this Bible. Hang on, I just can't help it. You can't help it because it's right there in your face.
Hey, I'll tell you something. See what you say. Who was the youngest of the Jackson family?
Oh, I thought it was Michael, wasn't it?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, he had a sister under him. Remember?
Latoya or Janet?
Janet Jackson. That was the one, was the youngest. And now there's another one below her named Randy Jackson that didn't even exist. You know what I mean?
There it is.
And
Accepted
did you know
doctor.
that the Brady Bunch had a variety show on at night?
No.
Yeah,
I
they
remember
did.
the Brady Bunch.
They had a variety show on at night. They said, "Now, the one that I got one of my own is Forrest Gump because I used to make it. I used to say, hey, Forrest, have you found Jesus yet?" He'd go, "I didn't know he was lost." And now
Right.
he says,
Yes, I remember that.
now he says, "I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for him."
Ain't that something?
The Depends one got me though because I told jokes a long time ago about Depends. You know what I mean? Because they say, "How long
Yes,
do you think the Rolling Stones will play music?" And I said, "That depends." And
exactly.
and Smokey the Bear is another one. It was Smokey the Bear. It wasn't Smokey Bear. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Smokey the Bear.
That one really freaked me out because I found an old comic book and
Only you can
It said
prevent
Smokey
forest
Bear.
fires.
But I found residue on that stuff of other things
Hey,
saying Smokey the Bear. Yeah.
look at my janky light setup. Look at it's a lamp hanging from the ceiling.
Hey, when I was a kid, we had a wagon wheel with lamps on it around our table in the trailer. Remember they had that theme? It had
Yes.
lights hanging from the
Yep.
wagon wheel for the base.
Yeah, we don't have very good lighting in the kitchen, but whatever, we make do. That one over my head's
Whenever
plenty
my
bright.
ex left, I took the globe off my ceiling fan and I hung chains all the way to the floor with the glow in the dark and skulls, and I turned it into bachelor pad.
Man, I used to love that black light stuff. You get them
Oh
beads
yeah,
and all the posters and all that stuff.
yeah. We used to get the doodle art, those great big posters. We'd have like 4 people coloring it. It was big enough you could all
Yeah,
color it just with a sharp.
those were cool.
You can take those highlighters, yellow ones. The yellow highlighters glow like crazy under a black light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can draw in the dark. It's pretty crazy with that.
I haven't had a black light in a minute, but I got a cool red one and cool blue one.
I like taking you can take red plastic or whatever or a red lens for a flashlight and look out in the yard and you can catch the
Yeah.
night crawlers out at night breeding because they can't
Yep.
see red, and you can pull them before they get back in their hole. You can grab them.
All the years I drove semi trucks, almost all semi trucks, at least the ones that I started driving for 20 years ago. In the interior cab lights, you have regular overhead lights for reading and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But they also had ones they had a red lens. It was a separate light, and it had a red lens or a red bulb, and it was for nighttime. That way, you didn't mess up your night vision.
Aircraft has that too.
What?
Airplanes have
Aircraft,
those too.
yes, right. It keeps your pupils from dilating. Hey, did
We
you
like
know
call them dope lights. Hey, remember you called it dope light? You had one under, you could turn on without the door, so your light wasn't on, and you're out partying on the old road.
Yep. So
Because back then, if you're in the temple, the farmer would come down there ready to shoot you. Think you're stalking his cattle. You know what I mean?
Yep. You know the old myth about pirates and wearing patches on their eyes, right?
Oh yeah.
You know why that exists? Do you know why? You know the reality behind that?
Never heard it.
It's kind of crazy. It makes sense though. So especially if you were an officer, if you were above deck and it was daylight, if you had one eye in darkness, right, with a patch, and you had to run below deck to relay orders to another officer or to the guys running the cannons or whatever.
You take off the patch and you can see. Huh?
As you went down, you would switch the patch
Yeah,
to the other eye,
that's
and now
smart.
you had an eye that was already fully dilated
Yeah,
for the dark.
and it makes total sense too, don't
And
it?
you can make a seamless transition. That's why it wasn't because a lot of pirates lost eyes in battle, as like they would lead us to believe. the reality is they did it for
They had to go
transitioning
in
from
and out in the
broad
dark too
daylight.
much. Yeah, they had
Yeah,
to go in and out. If you're out in the woods when it starts getting dark, you can see. I always
yeah,
can. I don't.
yeah.
I can see your eyes slowly focused to in the gradual.
Well, we learned this stuff in the Boy Scouts, for night vision. So if you're out messing around with flashlights, walking trails at night, in the Boy Scouts, we learned. I don't even remember what scout leader taught me, but we learned early on. There's two things you do at night if you're using flashlights, so you don't lose the advantage of night vision. Is you walk with one eye shut, or to teach yourself, they would tell you to put your hand over one eye, and then
Yeah.
look with the flashlight. Or the second thing is to cup your hand over the lens and just crack your fingers and just barely let a little bit of light peek through. That way, it doesn't make your pupils constrict. You want them to stay, fully
Yeah.
dilated.
It's
And
kind of
we
like
learned
using
that
a
as
scope
kids.
or binoculars, a scope, or like even a jeweler's loop. People never
Hmm.
knew how to use them. You just put the loop in front of your eye and you move the object closer till it focuses in. You don't keep moving the loop, and it's so easy when you learn.
Yep.
What's up, Raven?
Raven.
Oh,
T-Bird Red.
you might need to check your Google account to unblock it. Block anybody. I unblocked Rowan a long time ago.
I
Went out.
know. We were live streaming not that long ago and you unblocked him and he came in. See, this is like I have people from our channel all the time tell us that they don't get notifications when we go live and this and that. Like even Michigander was saying that he don't never get
Hey, I
notifications
went
from
to
our
your channel
channel.
before, and it doesn't even show you live. And the next day, it says you ended 30 minutes ago,
Right.
and I couldn't find it. And it was you were live, and it didn't show it.
Yep.
What's up, Guru?
Guru. What's up?
I used to one of my other channel one time. Its name was THC Guru. It's had like 15 different names. I made a video today about Tony, but I put it on private already.
Did you?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Rowan said take the high road, so I put it on private. He got me.
Yeah,
But after
just
his video yesterday, I just don't believe he'll stay away.
well, we'll see how this shakes out. All I can say is, based on the context, it seems like things might be getting a little
Yeah,
sketchy for him. But
I think
the,
somebody
the
told him to get
reality
off.
is, we all know. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, you reap what you sow. And when you sow division and anger and all that other noise, that's what you're going to harvest right back into your life at one point or another. I mean, that's how our Father works.
Hey, whatever you
And
put out there comes right back to you. I mean, it's just a given. Everybody, if I don't give. God says, vengeance is His, because if you wait, you don't even have to have vengeance. Uh, they'll do it to themselves.
you see that last comment from Raven?
Yes, Google account, not
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, I'll check it again, but I'm pretty sure.
I didn't even know you could do it through the
But if
Google
you
account. I
block
thought you
somebody
had to
on
do.
YouTube, you have to
I
do
thought.
it. Block them on Google too.
Up to your Google.
Hmm?
It's up to your Google.
Yeah, I know, but I thought if you blocked someone, you had to block them through YouTube, not through Google.
Well, when you block them, Google blocks them too. You have to go in Google and block them too.
Oh,
And they're
really?
underneath your
Yeah.
account says people and sharing, and it shows you're blocked. How many people you have blocked? You know how many people I have blocked? You don't even want to know. 262.
What is?
I have 262 people blocked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I don't even know how that works.
Any person
I'll,
that ever goes to any of those people that don't like us, I block every single person that I can go to
there you
their chat
go.
and they don't look like nobody's there.
Right. Yep. Yep. And that's what. Yeah. I mean, that's the easy way to just deal with it. Just block it, be done with it, move on. Let it be a
Even
distant
if I
memory.
don't know them and I go in another chat and I see somebody being mean, I block them. They don't even know me. I block them. I don't ever want to deal with them. You know what I mean?
We were in a chat the other day, and I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to stir up no garbage. But we were in a chat the other day, a live chat, and we didn't realize that there was people there because we don't have but just a couple things blocked. We're literally just a couple, and We didn't realize, and then you know how sometimes when you're doing a live stream, you can put the little chat up on the window, like
And you
yeah,
saw their name?
yeah, right. And I saw their name, like, and I'm looking through the comments. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see them in there. So we looked in our account to make sure. Well, did we have these two people blocked? And like, nope, they're not blocked anywhere in our account. So we're like, oh, they got us blocked, right?
Yeah, I
We
don't
got,
have Rowan blocked. I just have somebody name. I don't even know who they are. Russell somebody, but there's no Rowan in their block. That's
uh,
what name it's in. Yeah, I've seen that
see,
too. People like someone named Deb. People were talking to her, and I'm like, because if I don't, I don't gossip, but if I showed you, I mean, I'm just that person has done evil shit to me for a long time, and I've done nothing to him. And so,
yeah, I never even heard that name before until the last time we
well,
did.
all it is a D, a purple D. No one's ever seen her or heard her talk. It could be a fat guy or a skinny girl. You wouldn't even know.
Huh,
You know what I mean? Unless you don't
right?
know if it's a guy
Yeah,
or a girl.
exactly, exactly. That's why I get frustrated with these avatars, because you don't ever know who you're talking to. There's people that I converse with on a fairly regular basis, and I've never seen who they are because they won't show it.
And what's the deal? I mean, what is so bad? Because no one. And look at Tony. He's the worst person ever, and he ain't come to your house to call you or nothing. No one really cares what you look like on here. I don't think.
No, what difference does it make? But the fact that, see, this is like the problem with communication as we understand it. Because before cell phones, we had an actual phone conversation. We would have an actual phone conversation, or we would have a conversation face to face, and you can get a much better idea. So text messages removed all emotion from it, and if you're not extremely precise with your language and your pronunciation and all your grammar, then there's a lot lost in translation, even when you speak the same language. Because I could say a statement that was just simple and harmless and random. And because of your state of mind and the way you perceive what I wrote, you get pissed off about something. And I had no ill will, no foul intent. But that's the problem with text messaging. That's the problem with avatars. There's so much removed from the equation. There's a lot left unsaid because of the disconnect.
Well, like if someone says, you're mean and all that shit, I said, then you don't know me.
Hmm.
Because if you knew me, you wouldn't be saying that shit. You know what I mean? That's what I look at it.
I
They don't know
think
me.
I think that the people that are afraid to push that button and show who they are and what they look like, and let people, kind of look them in the face and take a measure of who they are, and read them, as we were intended to see people.
Yeah.
Not that the avatars are bad, but to hide behind your avatar all the time, and never show a true expression, a true emotion. Um, to me, um, is doing yourself and everybody you encounter a disservice.
Well,
Hello,
I
Bright.
most people have low self-esteem. I'm not talking about anybody, but when you talk in general now, people get butthurt because they take it personal. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking in general. Most people have low self-esteem. That's why, and half the world does. Most women do. It's just, I mean, it's easy. I'm old enough. I've seen it. And when women are pretty, usually their pictures on there because they know it and they're proud to be pretty. There's nothing wrong with being good looking, but beauty's on the inside. People just, I don't know what it is. I mean, and on here, it's your mind. It's not about your physical part. It's your spiritual on here. Kind of, it's what you think, not what you look like. Don't you think?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was spacing. I was trying to read comments, and I wasn't doing a good
I'm
job listening to
just
you,
saying,
dude.
it's not what you look like on the outside. It's you can be really
Yes.
beautiful on the outside and be an ugly bitch on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, Dagger Spells. But,
Yeah.
there's times that if a girl has a picture when she's young and it never changes, they're not going to change it because people think they look at themselves different than people look at them, and they can't get that through their head. People don't see you like you see yourself. It's different through their eyes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because
Yeah. I
I
mean,
know some
so
really pretty women that would never. I can't get a date, and they just never tried, and I don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, everybody's got their reasons for doing what they're doing. I'm just, I guess in the bigger picture, I'm just saying that it'd be like playing. It's like playing poker. If we were sitting down playing Texas Hold'em for money, and if all you have to go on, if like say playing online poker, If you're playing
Yeah.
online poker and there's no visual at all, if it's just typing
You
and
can't
looking at
bluff
a
or do
screen,
nothing, can you? You can't bluff them.
yeah, there's no such thing as a poker face anymore. You're basing your decision solely on statistics
It's your
and
poker
and and,
finger.
and right and probability, statistical analysis of the numerical value of the cards. But when you're sitting there across the table from someone and you're playing cards, you get to read body language, even if they have a stone cold sober face and very little to no physical mannerisms or what we call tells in gambling. Um, it still tells you a story. No matter what you do, no matter how good you are with your grammar, no matter how good you are with your facial expressions, no matter how well you hide yourself, when you can look at somebody, it tells a whole different story than just what you hear or
Yeah.
what you're faced with, meaning a mathematical decision.
How
If
many
there's
people have been online in love with somebody for a year and they go to meet him and they look through the window and run? You know what I mean?
thought you were going to meet Miss America and you
Yeah.
wind up meeting Miss Piggy.
I'm sorry. There's a reason people don't show their picture, and people just don't want to hear the truth. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But just because you think you're ugly doesn't mean everybody else does. That's the way I look at it. Because I've
Hey,
known people.
did you ever see that movie Friday?
Oh yeah, you've been knocked the fuck out. I know that.
What did he say? He said something about what was it? That guy? Oh, was it Chris? Chris Tucker. He was sitting there
Yeah.
dreaming, talking about he wanted something with a couple big girls with a belt buckle that said glitter or something. Oh my goodness! Had me
Remember
crying.
Harold Kumar? He married the bag of weed. It was his wife bitching at him and shit. Remember the big old sack of weed? Oh my.
Hey, when I first moved to Oregon, I met a couple of dudes that was pretty good into growing, and this one dude that lived right down the road from me. He comes over to the house one day and he's like, hey bud, he's like, you need any weed? I said, well, hell yeah, I always need weed, because I was making rosin and
Yeah.
RSO and stuff like that, making hash. And I said, yeah, I always take some weed. I said, what is it? Is it any good? He said, well, it's real good. He said, my buddy just, you know what an auto trimmer is?
Yeah.
So when you get the big buds and it's got all the fan leaves, it's like a tumbler and it
Yeah.
cuts all the big fan leaves off for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, they never used one and they bought a brand new one and it was supposed to, you could put like 5 pounds in this thing at a time. And, well, you got the big cola buds. That's great for the big cola buds, but it's not very good for the smaller, what we would call like a popcorn bud. They're, anywhere from the size of, say, a golf ball down to the size of a grape. Well,
Oh yeah.
they put a whole shitload of popcorn buds in there that still had fan leaves on them.
Oh.
But yeah, so it ground up. I mean, ground up like 10 pounds of pop.
Put leaves in it too, make it taste shitty.
So yeah, right. So he brings me, it's almost like 10 pounds of this pot that got ground up that they can't do shit with, right? Because right, exactly. He's like, well, we were thinking about making some dabs out of it, but we got a whole bunch of other shit, and we don't really want to fuck with it because it's got all the fan leaves in it, and it's gonna change the flavor. We don't want to go, waste all this time. They're like, oh, whatever, it's just 10 pounds of pot, big deal. That was their mindset, right? They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, whatever, it's just 10 He's like, what do you want to do? You want to do something with it? Because he said, you make all kinds of shit. I was like, oh, I got this. I said, I'm going to make rosin out of this. So I don't know, I ended up making like, I don't know, a little over a pound of rosin. I condensed it all down. Made, I don't know, pound and a quarter, pound and a half of rosin out of that shit. It was fantastic.
Hey, I went to meet this friend of mine. I went to meet these black dudes at a car wash, and I never met them. And they were in an Escalade to buy a pound of weed. And they jumped in the vehicle, and it looked like what crackers come in exactly. It looked like that was a pound of weed. It was square like that. And I go, "Is it any good?" And they go, "Yeah, it's good." It was only like 175. I mean, it was like dirt cheap. And I said, "Let me look at it." And they go, "No, you take it or leave it." So I took it. And I got home and opened it up, and it was the skunkiest shit you ever seen. And like 2 days later, they called and said, "Do you still have that?" I'm like, "Right." They give me the wrong one. They give me the good shit instead, the better shit. You know what I mean? They were
Oh,
pissed.
really?
Yeah,
Dude, I remember when that skunk first came around, man. That was some good stuff.
you couldn't hide the smell if you had it in your car. I don't care if you had
No. Oh,
that kid.
no. That Maui Wowie that used to come over from Hawaii.
Well, I had a guy that was a conservation agent that grew it on the battlefield out there at Wilson's Creek, and it's a national battlefield, so you wouldn't get in trouble. But he
Mm.
wouldn't sell it. But every now and then he'd need money, and he'd cut off a big cola bud, cola, whatever you call it. And I'm serious, if you chewed on it, it would burn your mouth like a pepper, and it looked like a pineapple. It was so thick. And the first time
Yeah.
I ever smoked it, I woke up. I got out to take a piss, and I woke up face down with my hands on my zipper. You know what I mean? It was
I used
good
to
shit.
smoke. I used to have volunteers come out to the farm in Oregon, and if they smoked, because out there, you just grow it out in the open, nobody cared. I mean, nobody cared,
Yeah.
and they would be like, "Oh, can we pick some of your pot?" Just messing with me. They know I wasn't gonna let them pick my pot, but I was like, "Oh, if you want some, I'll give you," because I always had loads of it. I just run in the house, grab a Ziploc bag, just a regular, like a sandwich Ziploc
Yeah.
bag. And I just stuff it I mean, I literally just stuff it as full as I could get it and walk out here. Here you go, for volunteering. I give them like one every couple of weeks or one a month whenever they needed one. I just give them a whole bag full of it.
Remember
We
that
had
movie
so much.
Homegrown? That movie Homegrown. They caught those people and they kidnapped them, made them do all their work for them on the pop field.
No, I don't know if I ever saw that.
Billy Bob Thornton was in it.
No, I didn't see that one.
It's called Homegrown. How about that movie with Leonardo, The Island, when they were growing weed on that island? All the hippies were
Oh
living there.
yes.
That guy got hit by that
The
shark.
beach. The beach. The beach.
Yeah, that's it. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
that was a good movie.
It was really bizarre, wasn't it? It was all good until that guy got ate by that shark, and they're like, "You're not even staying in the camp with us, you
Yeah.
yelling, stealing motherfucker."
Yeah.
Like, what? That was
Yeah,
cruel.
they had a little change of heart, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to lose our little slice of heaven, so you're just gonna have to bleed out and die and do it
I
quietly.
know. That's the way mankind is, though.
Oh
Only
yeah.
the strong survive when it comes down to nitty gritty.
Hey, I got a buddy now. It don't involve a shark attack, mind you, but as far as choices go, I got a buddy of mine. I'm not gonna be direct about it at all, but I got a buddy of mine that's going through something similar right now, where because of how he chooses to look at things, some of his friends look at those things in opposition, and because of that, he is no longer uh, friends, so called, with these people because of something as simple as how you choose to look at things. And people just get real emotional, man. And instead of letting people just be who they are, it's not a matter of, oh, who you are. Hang on one second. Instead of letting someone just be who they are, as long as they're not, affecting you or hurting you in a way, just because they're in such opposition to the way you look at things or think of things in a certain way, they want to just like get real upset and emotional about things, and there's no logic behind it. It's different if, like, you think it's okay to beat a woman, right? And we think differently about that. I get it why you wouldn't associate with that, but
Right.
when it's something that's trivial and it doesn't, amount to anything.
The little shit. Don't stop the little shit, right?
Exactly. I mean, why does it have to be, why does it have to be like that? That's what I don't understand.
And it's because nobody understands anything. Hardly two people know anything alike anymore. And you just kind of just take it that they're not being personal about you, because people take everything personal. Everybody does. If you talk in general and somebody gets bird hurt, usually because you're hitting home base with them. You know what I mean? Wow,
Yeah.
that was pretty thick.
These bad boys right here got almost 12 feet tall. I was getting right
What kind
here.
was that?
See, this
What
was
plant?
this was Blue Dream. It was a
Oh,
hybrid, a sativa dominant
they got
hybrid.
skinny leaves. Their leaves are awful thin. That's weird.
The fan leaves were bigger
Yeah.
than my hands. See,
Yeah,
that's
but I mean,
me.
they're just
Look,
like
look.
they're too
This is
skinny
the
though.
short side. I got almost 3 pounds dried and cured off of one plant.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. They get them bigger than that. If I had done this one a little different, this one would have got over 15 feet tall if I had made a few alterations, which I didn't. But
You know,
because they
one
were
thing when
doing
I
so
was
good.
young, my ex-father-in-law taught me that, like, right before you're going to pull it to hang it
See,
or whatever, he cut
they
all the
got
sucklings off, the ones you call fan leaves. And then
that's a
whenever
shipping
the
container.
top of, he cut off just the leaf and left the stem on there. And whenever the stem, you could see the ooze out at the end. And when it started hardening up, is when he pulled the plant, because he said it's got all the juices are up in there trying to heal all the leaf places, and that's when all the
Oh
THC's
yeah.
out of the root.
So this right here, that's a shipping container that's 9 feet 6 inches plus.
Yeah.
You can't see it here, but I had it sitting on railroad ties. That way the metal wasn't making ground contact, so it wouldn't rust.
Yeah, exactly.
But when this plant finished, it was slightly taller than this. But this is an earlier picture while it was still
I
maturing.
know somebody that was on the news here. It took 4 of those containers and buried them and hooked them in with like giant railroad ties and concrete and chains. Where
Oh yeah,
it was like
yep.
nuclear proof almost. But when you walked inside, it looked like a mansion. You couldn't tell that it was those things. You know what I mean?
So I had a buddy in Illinois that he was literally an underground grower, and it was kind of
Yeah,
funny. You know them underground fuel tanks for gas stations.
yeah,
See,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
this was a Blue Dream right here.
Ooh, look at that, man.
Right
I
as
bet
soon
that
as these
tastes good.
little when you oh dude, when as soon as these little clear hairs, as soon as they start to turn a golden brown, it's done. You harvest that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
These sugar leaves make some killer RSO or even rosin. You know, you trim
And, you
all
know
that
the
stuff off there,
terpenes, the
buddy.
terpenes. You know, if you, it just makes it look tasty. It's crazy.
Look at that big old nugget.
Uh,
That's a big old cola bud. Yeah, I love, and you
yeah.
know, we didn't use
I
no
did a video
chemicals.
about trichomes.
Oh yeah,
We always look for poke
trichomes.
plants. You know, we'd pull up a poke plant and put a pot plant in the hole because they needed the same stuff as I was always told. You know.
Yeah, I'm always going for high trichome distribution and high terpene values, man. And not using chemicals, not using, you know, fungicides or herbicides or any of that. Just growing it organically, all natural. Man, the results are phenomenal. Like this Blue Dream, the berry terpene in it was absolutely fantastic. It literally smelled like blueberries and skunky pot.
Man, I forgot some pruners one time. Me and my buddy grew, and I just took and pulled the buds off the plant because we couldn't haul them. And my hands got so black they would stick together. And I mean, they were like, it was unbelievable how it was like stickiest shit ever.
When we were trimming this stuff out, dude, we had to have several bottles of rubbing alcohol, 90% alcohol, just to
Yeah.
keep every few minutes you had to clean the scissors and the trimmers.
Oh yeah. I took some and put in one of those dehydrators you put apples and bananas in, you know, and I forgot about it. And then like it was like a year later, the very bottom tray was nothing but honey. I mean, where it all just dripped down to the bottom. That looks good. You know,
Yeah,
a buddy of mine I went to school with, he used to grow weed. I'd go to his
this was
house.
Gorilla Glue, I think. Gorilla Glue number 4.
He had a big cooler he'd open up and pull the buds out of dry ice. And because he dried it with dry ice, and you know, he'd pull that weed out of that like fog alert from a concert, you know, out of that cooler.
Yeah. So I used to do so. See right here, that's Gorilla
Oh,
Glue number 4. So
wow.
when I first started processing this stuff, I used to take and take these buds and press them individually in wax paper, or not wax paper, parchment paper
Oh,
with a
yeah?
heated press. Yeah, and you don't
Oh, okay.
need, yeah, so you can press the bud just like this, but it's time consuming. So what I found, and without introducing a hydrocarbon, you take dry ice and you put it in a 5-gallon bucket. You throw about a pound of pot in there. I don't know. This right here was probably two or 3 pounds in this tray. But you take about a pound of pot, you throw it in a 5-gallon bucket. You put about 7 to 10 pounds of dry ice in there with it. Dry ice is, I believe, 107 or 109. I always get those two confused, but it's about 107 below zero, and it freezes as solid. And with the chunks of dry ice in the bucket, you have put a sleeve that goes over the top of the bucket. It's got a 220 micron mesh cover, and then you flip the thing upside down with the pot and the dry ice in it. So now you got the mesh facing
Oh, the
down,
tube comes out.
Yeah, and you shake it. You just shake the crap out of the bucket, and
Yeah.
I had a big glass mirror, and you would end up with a pile of hat from a pound of pot. Like see, I roll my own cigarettes.
Yeah, I
So
seen a guy do it yesterday, but he used a bag instead of a bucket, and it was like a mesh bag, real fine, and he was
yeah,
shaking over Queen, and the whole top of the table was covered in that shit.
yeah.
It was
So
unbelievable.
I just had a mesh bag that slid over the top of a 5 gallon bucket. That
Yeah,
way, it would contain the dry ice and the plant, and you had something stable and solid to hold on to. So when you like a pound, if it's a good pot like this, if you shake it out with dry ice, you end up with about half a pound of keef straight. You know, it's hash basically that's not
that's what you
pressed.
make your stuff out of,
And
right?
then yeah, and then you take these little 90 micron. They look like little tea bags. I would use one that were 2.5 inches wide by 4 inches long, and you put all the keef down in there, and then you run that through your heated press at 220 degrees for 2 minutes, and it would squeeze all that stuff. Dude, I'd have balls of rosin as big as your fist.
Hey,
You get
one
about a
time
quarter pound of rosin off of a pound of pot.
hey, I met this dude that was from Chicago, and he came down here to work for the city, and he ended up getting cancer. And his
Uh-huh.
parents both died, and they were really well off. And he was this partying, guitar playing, hippie, tall, this crazy dude. And he had his parents' house with all this fancy shit in there. Well, he called me one time, and he said, "Man, can you come over and help me?" He ordered a vaporizer out of the mail, one of the square ones, the big ones, that had a tube, and
Uh-huh.
they couldn't get it to work right. Well, first of all, they were touching the weed with their hands. You're supposed to grind it up and then suck it up into that thing with your the mouthpiece where you don't touch it, because the oils on your hands can even taste it, with a vaporizer.
Yep.
So I showed them I ground it all up and got to work, and we all took one hit, and we were just blasted. And they're like, "Man, it works good." I said, "Where's the book that came with this?" And I read on it, it said, "You need to turn it on and bake it for 6 hours due to all the coating in there." And I'm like, "You probably just killed us." We smoked out of it without even cleaning nothing. You know what I mean? You're supposed to burn the stuff off of it. It's
Yeah,
toxic or some shit. And I was so
bro,
mad.
the stuff that these dudes make, I've seen a lot of people make their own dabs, right?
Yeah,
Wax, shatter, whatever they want to call it. They
bubblegum
want to
hash
call,
and some shit.
a lot of people like to call it different things to make it sound fancy,
We
but
used to call it honey a long time ago.
they use butane to get it cold and
Yeah, and
extract
that's
it.
a carcinogen. That's horrible.
It's a carcinogen, it's a hydrocarbon, and it's known, it's like sitting there smoking charcoal. Well, it's not good to ingest carbon
No.
directly into your lung.
Well,
So,
people don't realize all the people that party and stuff. It's not the drugs mostly. It's the fuel. It's the torches and the gas you're sucking down your lungs. You know what I mean?
yep.
That's why people started like first time I ever smoked what do you dabs, honey, whatever. It was like a giant 4 foot bong with like 5 percolators, and they heated up a piece of glass and stuck on it. There was nothing foreign about it. It was just
Yeah.
heat.
That's why
And
I
I'm,
like the
I'm
nectar
serious. I got
collectors.
so high, I was paranoid to drive. I mean, the first time I smoked that shit, I was like, "What the world?" I mean, you can, and the percolators. The smaller the particle, the more you can ingest. It's ionization. You know what I mean? The
See,
smaller
that's what I
the
like about the nectar collectors is because you get it hot separate and then you just let it vaporize when you touch the rosin.
Yeah, but a
And
lot of
you
people,
don't have
they
any
took that like
hydrocarbons.
a Dacone. He used to sit there with a torch on it for 5 minutes, and that's why he could take a 1 gram dab hit because he was vaporizing half of it because you're only supposed to do it about 350, and he was hitting it about 1,000 degrees, and it just burns it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it tastes like shit, hurts your throat. You know, after I
You've
started
had
smoking some, I looked
rosin,
it up
haven't
and
you?
studied it. I study everything, and I looked it up, and it's like 350. Well, hell, they've been smoking at 500 degrees, and winter it tastes like shit. You know. I've smoked. I mean, I've tried every bit of it. I don't know what you call it all, but it all gets you high. That's all that matters. I used to like smoking hash, but I haven't seen any of that in 20 years. You know what I mean? People were bringing it back from Germany when the army and stuff back when I was young. Lebanese blonde and all that shit. People, I knew a guy who was a cop, but when he was in the military, he was an MP, and he would take and sew all that hash in the lining of his tie and wear it right on the airplane. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Dude, in Oregon, right before I left Oregon, I gave away like I gave away a quarter pound of hash, and I gave away a quarter pound, 100, I gave away 119 grams of rosin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a buddy of mine. Same people that was helping me out with shit all the time. And I wasn't going to transport that shit across state lines because that's federal. I wasn't going to fuck around with that because, it ain't worth it to me.
I know
So,
people that used to go to Jamaica every year, and they said you didn't really have to buy weed because the people in the hotel room before you couldn't smoke all, and they couldn't take it with them. They just left it for the next person.
so Strange Unusual said I stay on all natural. I only smoke flower. Once you start dabbing, it fries your lungs. It makes you paranoid and anxious. Yeah, that's what dabs is. It's because it's made with butane and you have the carcinogen. But I use rosin, which
Yeah.
is 100% hydrocarbon free. And when I grow it with zero chemicals. So all you're getting, the way I make it, it creates a full plant extract in the form of a highly viscous, dense oil. It's a full whole plant extract with no chemicals whatsoever. The benefit to rosin is you separate the plant cellulose, the fiber, which does nothing for you.
Yep,
You just
exactly.
separate it from the fiber and you remove all the fiber through the shakedown process, and you're left with a whole plant pure oil extract that
Hey,
is
whenever we
about
used to
70 to
vaporize that,
80% pure.
we used to vaporize it. It turns the weed brown, after you smoke it, but it's still there, and it
Right.
doesn't get hot enough to burn out they used to call it sleepy weed because you could still smoke it and go to sleep. It still had that part in there that made you tired, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There's a chemical for that.
Yeah, my son
I
used to just sell it as Reggie.
yeah, no, but there's a chemical component that is responsible. It's a terpene and it's something else. I'm forgetting the word.
Except,
Anyway, there's a chemical compound present, especially in indicas. That's the indicouch, couch lock. The indicas, they have a certain chemical that's higher. It's in the
well,
it's in the
doesn't
field of
like
the
I don't
delta
know.
nine, but
Sativa, one gets you high and one gets you stoned. That's the difference, right?
well, one makes you mellow and calm, and the other one, sativa, is uplifting and
Yeah, yeah.
energizing, creative. And
Well,
they
see,
say
it all does
indica.
that to me though. Every bit of it makes me just more I smoke, the more wound I get.
The easy way to remember indica
In the
is
couch.
is indicouch, right? Indica is indicouch, means you're gonna be tired. You're not
Yeah.
gonna. But it's good for pain management, and if someone's very distressed and they need to relax and chill out, a very strong indica is perfect for
You
that.
know, I've never weed has never. I mean, I've smoked it my whole life, and they say all the shit they say about it ain't true because I have a better memory than anybody I know. Yeah, I mean, all that stupid shit. Weed only enhances what you already have. If you're smart, you get creative. If you're
Yep,
dumb, you get dumber. So if you're dumb, you shouldn't do any drugs. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It just makes you.
Roger that.
I don't know. I've been pretty healthy my whole life since I mean, I never was not healthy, but I smoked weed. Probably missed 6 months out of the whole time since '82, and that's for jobs and shit like that.
I'm gonna try to find something. I don't know if I can. You seen that pumpkin I carved, didn't you? That big
Yeah,
crazy looking pumpkin.
yeah.
That I was smoking rosin and I was using RSO at the same time. And I got real creative that day when I did that pumpkin.
Is that Rick Simpson oil? Does it have THC in it?
Oh yeah, it's a whole plant extract just like rosin. Oh, it's loaded. Actually, if you have Rick Simpson oil that is made correctly, it is far better than even rosin or any of it.
How do you do
Look,
it? You eat it?
yeah. So usually when you buy it at the dispensary, it'll come in a little bitty syringe, like you would
Yeah,
like you would put eardrops in or something kind of.
yeah. You
Um,
can you can squeeze it out easier that way,
yeah,
right?
it's not a dropper, but a syringe. But so a starter dose of RSO for someone who's never taken it is half the size of a grain of rice. It
Oh
is
my!
very
Are you kidding me?
no, it is it look, if you've never done RSO, I don't care if you eat
I
edibles
haven't.
and smoke. If you've never done RSO and you take a full grain size and it's made correctly, you're gonna go on a 12-hour high like you've never felt before.
Wow.
And if you take like 2 grains of rice, you're gonna wish you never did. It is unbelievably strong, but you start out with ultra low doses and build up to it, and that's the whole plant extract. So you have the terpenes, you have the
What do they make
trichomes.
it? Is it made different than the rest? I guess, huh?
Yeah, it is made slightly different. They usually use some form of alcohol base to saturate it and strip it from the plant fiber. A lot of people use isopropyl, like 90% isopropyl, or they'll use methanol. I don't like using any of that. You can just use Everclear or Moonshine, and it does the same exact thing. Um, and you don't have to use something that, like, because
Hey,
Moonshine
Big
you can
Dog,
drink.
I heard you could just use cold water to do all that same shit too, like ice water.
Yeah, well, not to get you can do that to separate your keef, like you're trying to make hash. It's called bubble hash, and you
Yeah.
use ice and water, and you use like the sleeve that I was telling you about that you slip over a bucket. There's other ways too. They have bags that you can dip
Somebody
down
used to
in it.
make bubble gum hash and they'd put it in the oven to make it at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, well, yeah. Once you get it good and cold and you shake it around. Hey, what's up, brain bug? Once you put it in a bubble bag and you shake it around with the ice water, it gets it real cold, and all the little trichomes and the hash or the key falls off, and it goes through the filter, and it ends up in the bottom. You strain the water off, and then you put it in a tray, and you can let it evaporate naturally, or you can like preheat an oven to 200 degrees, and then turn it off and set it in there with the door cracked, and it'll help dry it out. There's all kinds of ways to do it, heat
Hey,
lamps and what have you.
I found a
I don't like
Bluetooth
it that
speaker.
way.
Hey, chick, I found a Bluetooth speaker on the side of the road the other day. I charged it and it won't work. Then I noticed on a commercial that it's one of those Alexa things.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have that thing in my house.
I mean,
Not
I didn't know it. You
no.
can't talk because the top's gone off of it where you're talking to it or whatever.
There's all look. Hey, them things say some crazy stuff sometimes.
I tell
My
you,
buddy had one.
people shit sometimes. One of them told somebody's all kinds of data to somebody at a different house. It was, you know what I mean? Somehow it got mixed up.
Hey, you start asking them some funny questions about the CIA and the NSA. Some of the responses will blow your mind.
Hey, my buddy Richard that comes over here that lost his family and everything. Well, he's got an app on his phone called like Anime, except it's a robot like person, and you become friends with him, and you can pick whether if you want him to be a friend or have him flirt with you. And he said, "Oh, it's the greatest thing." I was on there like 30 minutes, and I said, "Goodbye, bitch." That thing was insulting me and said it had testicles and shit. I'm like, "What is?" I couldn't believe it. It did. It was making fun of me and saying it
Yeah.
had balls,
Wow.
and yet it was really confusing. I
It's
mean,
it's CIA AI.
yeah. Well, I
Central
would say AI
Intelligence
is just
Agency, Artificial Intelligence
it's
Corporation.
the all-seeing eye, the AI.
Yeah,
It's a,
exactly correct.
my
So
daughter had Alexis
strange
and
and
everything.
unusual says you got to activate the buds when you make edibles. Yep, decarboxylation. But with a solvent, it bypasses that step with RSO. Uh,
Hey, you know
yeah,
that video I sent you? I sent you that video with Mr. T. Remember?
yes, I watched
Hey,
it
did
with
you know?
David
Hey, I
Letterman.
said that to you last night, and I got up this on the phone today. It was on in my timeline. Wonder how it got there. They heard me say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it happens all the time, dude. All the time.
Hey, I was showing that guy Mark that I had my phone just sitting here today, and I never touched it for an hour. I just sit there and said, "Hey, Google," and told it every single thing I said. I didn't have to touch a phone at all.
Hey, bro, you know that new Pfizer Demon video I just did?
Yeah.
The same day I posted that video on my homepage, not my channel page, but on my homepage, you know how you get some random feeds come through, they just give you a
Yeah.
suggestion.
Yeah.
So that same day I posted that new Pfizer Demon video, um, another video feed came through as a suggested feed, and it was someone else who found the same dude with the bullfrog throat, Pfizer Demon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Same day I posted that video, I got a suggested feed from a guy who found the same exact thing. They're like they're flaunting it in my face, laughing at me.
Hey, well, like one
Right?
time I actually watched what's that Ellen DeGeneres. I watched a
Yeah.
show of hers when Michelle Obama was on there, and that's when she had those white pants on, and you could see her penis flopping around. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
I've seen that video. Yes.
I got that. I have the video. I found it in my cloud yesterday. I still have it. It's like from 2017 or something, and I recorded it off the TV of her sitting there dancing with her wiener flopping around. Freaked me
Yeah.
out.
These smartphones give them everything they need. They're watching and listening 24/7.
Oh yeah. Well, they have to be when you go, "Hey Alexis." They're listening, you know.
It don't matter if you look. I moved a full bird colonel from the Great Lakes region up north of Chicago. They got the big base up there. And I moved
Yeah.
him put to Bethesda, Maryland, and he was telling me stuff that was declassified because I asked him a lot because I know a lot of history about warfare, and he was over there at the original Desert Storm, and he was telling me a lot of stuff that was like public access or stuff that had been declassified, and the psychological warfare and the things that they do is kind of what they admit to is mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
I spent a week with this guy, moving from point A to point B. Yeah, I learned a whole bunch of stuff from this dude.
I bet you did.
Do you remember the original Gulf War when they said that they were playing? They said that they were playing loudspeakers of like babies crying and things
Yeah,
telling the men
Operation
to go
Enduring
home.
Freedom. Enduring Freedom.
Yes, yes. Okay, so here's the truth of what happened. That colonel, he was a psychological warfare expert. That's what he did. Okay, and he
Yeah.
told me, he said it was declassified. He said you can look it up. He said those speakers that they were pointing here. Wait. Oh, let me flip my camera because this is pretty funny. Because this is how he told me. Uh, Hold on. He said that the speakers, because they were showing it on the news cameras, right? Because they had all the news media there.
Yeah.
He said the speakers that were pointing at the enemy were actually the back side of the speaker was a false back, and he said the speakers were actually pointing back at the media, and they were blasting. They said it sounded like the music was going towards the enemy, but because of the frequency and the wave, it was actually all directed back at the media. That way they couldn't, because they have the little parabolic listening dishes to get sound picked up from further away. They aimed it back at, they were actually aiming all that noise back at the media. It was never aimed at the enemy ever.
That's funny because I remember in Cheech and Chong, they used to do that in Vietnam. They'd fly over playing heavy metal, and it would scare the Viet Cong. And then one time I think it was the first Up in Smoke or one of them, they were outside and Cheech or Chong started playing guitar, and all the Vietnamese people jumped underneath the car.
Man, dude. So
You know what I
Brainbug
mean?
said, he asked me if Brainbug wants to know if I heard about the giant at Kandahar. I've heard of it,
Yeah.
but I have not seen anything that compels me to believe it's anything other than a story. Now, I will say on the other side of that coin, I am a religious man, and if you talk about the fallen angels and the Nephilim and the stories of giants in the Bible, David and Goliath, and so on and so forth, um, I believe in giants. You bet. Um, have I ever seen one? Well, I've seen some pretty tall dudes that you could technically call a giant, like Shaquille O'Neal or the Chinese basketball player that's 8 foot something. The tallest man in the world had a last name of Wadlow, and his grandson actually lived and worked on our farm in Oregon. So that's kind of strange. So the tallest man ever to live, at least as far as we're told, was the last name of Wadlow. They have a animatronic statue of him, I believe it, Ripley's Believe It or Not museum somewhere. There's a place down in Missouri because that's where he lived, and his grandson used to live with me on my farm, and he told me about his granddad. I never heard about this guy. When I looked him up, this thing was huge. This dude was huge, and when you see it next to another person, have you ever seen a video of him, Wadlow? You still there? Hey, hello. Nope. I guess I'm rolling solo here. So anyway, yeah, Wadlow. Uh, yep, Alton, Illinois, not too far. Okay, yeah, Roger that. So yeah, his grandson was in my farm in Oregon. So yeah, I believe in giants. You can see evidence of it. There's supposedly a lot hidden by the Smithsonian. Um, but yeah, as far as the Kandahar giant, I haven't seen anything yet that would lead me to believe it anything other than a story. I've seen some animated drawings. He said, let's do a video call soon. Yeah, okay, 10-4. Would love to pick your brain about biblical giants. Yeah, I do know that parts of the Bible have certainly been changed and altered. We got clear evidence of that, but I certainly believe in them. I believe there's plenty of circumstantial evidence all across history that would demonstrate that there were giants throughout history, even here in modern day. Some of our athletes that are rather large in stature. Let's see, there is a wax sculpture of him in Ripley's in Springfield. Yeah, there's also an animatronics one where he's seated in a chair, and when you walk up next to it, it stands up, and it shows you just how tall it is. Let me see if I can pull that up here real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna look something up here for y'all. Well, that's one. That's not. Let's see. Yeah, click. Yeah, click on. Go find the video of it though. I don't want to. I'm trying to find this. Yeah, that's Ripley's Believe It or Not, or Guinness World Record.
Video?
Go no, yeah, go back to the search and find video. I'm not gonna play the sound, but let's see if this is it right here. That's a long one. Yeah, this is pretty. It's not the one I'm thinking of, but it'll do. I'll show you. Yeah, this guy's grandson was hanging out with us in Oregon. He wasn't as big as his granddad, I'll say that, but he was a big old boy. Sasquatch, where'd you go, buddy? Look at how big this dude is. Oh, sorry. Messed that up. And that dude, I don't know how he fit inside that plane. They must have charged him extra. That is a big dude. Yeah, I think giants are real. That dude's massive. There you go. Guess you call that Nephilim, maybe. I don't know. Read Genesis from the old Bible. All right, give me a second here. Where's that? We say read Genesis from the old book, chapter 6, 1 through 9.
Yeah, it was about the giants.
All right, we'll be right with you. Give me just a minute to get set up here. We'll pull it out and take a look. Robert, yeah, I'm not saying he was a Nephilim, but if you look at history, it would suggest that the biblical history side would say that the fallen angels who had an eye for human women mated with them, and their offspring were known as the Nephilim, the way I understand it. And the Nephilim were giants, unless I have something confused. But yeah, that's the way I understand it. All right, give me just a second here. Miss Jody, you'll have to let me know if someone put something different in the comments, because I can't see any comments when I'm in this StreamYard thing.
1 through 9.
Genesis 6, 1 through 9. Let's take a look here. Get this camera. Okay. And it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And that's where I get like, like the Cyclops and Leviathan, and that's kind of the way I look at that. David and Goliath. So let's see. And God saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man, and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. There you go. And this does not have a split. It only has one translation for Genesis in this particular Bible. But yeah, biblically, I absolutely believe that there were giants. There's certainly been circumstantial evidence. Mr. Sasquatch, what are you doing, dude? All right, give me just a minute, y'all. If you see here, look at these comments here.
Tell him to scroll up and find StreamYard.
The Nephilim bloodlines carried on through Noah's Sons and wives. Yeah. Brain bug. Look, if you go back up in the link, there should be the StreamYard. But if Sasquatch is not nearby, I don't know how you're going to get brought in. Seems like he might have stepped away from the phone. I'm going to the comment. Yeah, StreamYard's still up there. Yeah, it's way up. See the timestamp up there is about 10:43. Is where you're going to find the StreamYard. So I guess you can jump in the studio in the background and wait for Mr. Sassy to come back online. In the meantime, we can go to find Sasquatch's channel and maybe play some of his music. What we got here? I need to take a break anyway and get up and move my legs around. My legs are going numb. So y'all have to bear with me here momentarily. Trying to see if he's got something in here that ain't gonna get him copyright claim. Some of the stuff that he's put together. I don't know. Here we go. We can play a few here. Give me 1 minute here, y'all. Control the volume so it's not too loud. All right, give me just a minute. Sorry about that. I'm having a hard time holding this. All right, here we go. We have heard with our ears, O God, our Father. Our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. Psalms. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. There you go, Sassy. Where you been at, brother?
Trying to get back on here.
Oh, did you get kicked off your own stream?
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was wondering. I was trying to keep something going here. I think there's only a couple left in there.
Yeah, we don't gotta. Just seems like it. Mandela effect seems to trigger people too. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, people. I just try to look at things with an open mind and just try to understand. So right here, and he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels. Isaiah. Look at this. It's crazy. He's running away.
I always liked the ones that had all the pictures of him as a kid. You know.
There's a chariot of asses. It said camels, but there ain't no camels in here. At least not right there. Oh, there they are. There's some camels. Some wild stories in the Bible, that's for sure.
That was like the what you call when you're hauling camels, you're hauling humps. It's called camel towing.
Behold the wicked abomination that they do here. Wicked abomination. It shows Egyptian iconography, calling that a wicked abomination. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, God hath numbered that kingdom and finished it.
Didn't you say in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth?
Mm-hmm.
Now it says heaven. I
Thou
remember
art
it.
weighted in the balances and art found wanting. Proverbs. That kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians.
You know where they're fighting in Ukraine? I guess right there it's supposed to be where Sodom and Gomorrah was.
Where what?
Sodom and Gomorrah close to there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a black pyramid there too, I guess, in the Ukraine.
Sodom and Gomorrah is somewhere between Jerusalem and Egypt. I guess there's some dispute as to exactly where it lies. People say, oh, it's here, and then other people say it's there. But I actually looked at some very old Egyptian maps, and where it shows Sodom and Gomorrah is more in the Sinai Peninsula rather than near the Dead Sea, where modern archaeologists say it's roughly located. There's always dispute about something, especially if it's biblical.
No, I know.
The Mandela effect or no, people like to change history. That's something you really can't get away from. That's been going on for as long as men have been writing history. They've been changing it to suit their own needs.
Hey, you want to hear some comedy? I found somebody I never heard of last night.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of comedy lately. I need it.
Yeah, laughter's good medicine. Let's do it.
Okay. Hang on, let me put it on my Bluetooth. I think you get away with it a lot better if you don't show them either. You know what I mean?
You do.
Because comedy, you don't got to be looking at him unless it's Robin Williams. Then you got to, because that guy, his comedy was just half of his movements. You know what I mean?
You said Robin Williams.
Yeah, because if you have to see him when he's doing comedy, because
he very visual, hilarious too.
I still don't think he killed. I don't know. Who knows? They always kill people off.
What'd you say about him?
I don't know, but they say he killed himself.
Oh, I don't even remember hearing that.
Yeah, he choked himself. I don't know what he did, but he killed himself. But they said David Carradine died a weird way, and the lead singer of NXS. If you had that kind of money, couldn't you have somebody else choke you?
Right.
I wasn't saying you were getting triggered, Ray. I was talking about in general. A lot of people get triggered about Mandela. As soon as you start talking about it, I've been in crowds where even the people that do Mandela will argue amongst each other. That's why I kind of just got away from it. It seems like just an argument. And it's not really changing anything that's going to affect us. I mean, not in the long run. A spelling of a word isn't changing much. I think it's just like trying
I don't get too upset about anything, like, whether someone says the earth is flat or round, or whether there was giants or no giants. Look, those are semantics, really, in the bigger picture of, faith and salvation, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you should not let it bother you, that's for sure.
Just something else to divide people, more tribalism and
look at sports.
divide or
People
religious
beat each
divide.
other up over a sports team and cuss each other and throw shit at each other over football.
That's why I try to stay away from the labels and stuff as much as possible.
Yeah, like Dick Gregory, you know who that was? The guy that stood up for rights back in the 50s, and then he told on a bunch of shit on Hollywood. And he said, people can go out every weekend. If someone wins a football game in college, they can go out and destroy the town.
Yeah, exactly. especially the European, football. They get wild over soccer. What we call
Oh
soccer.
no, I never got into soccer. I've never watched a soccer game in my life except Pele.
It's probably the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah, we didn't have it in school. When I was in school, we didn't have soccer.
Well, over here it's not. It's nothing like it is in the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I'd rather play rugby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a rough game right there. I've played rugby before. That's full
Yeah,
contact.
I've been scrammed and it's crazy. You gotta be tough. That's for sure. Pretty
We
crazy.
played We used to play full contact football, tackle football
Yeah,
in a penitentiary.
every Sunday we played. Every Sunday we always just play. It's fun.
Yeah, we played in jail. We would play opposing gang members, and we would play full contact in the middle of winter on the frozen ground. So it's like playing full contact football on concrete.
We always
Yeah,
played tournaments at the federal meds here, and we'd play against the team.
yeah, those games would get rough.
It's pretty fun, really, because everybody was watching. There's no fence. You're just playing in the center yard of the prison, and the ball can just roll forever. Go off the buildings and stuff. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, we had a big open area fenced in double rows, and it was like I don't know, it was probably 5 acres at least. It was a big area for running laps or
Fed men
playing
here,
football, soccer, whatever.
they have the highest AIDS population in the United States here because of the Fed med. All the federal prisoners that get AIDS get sent here to the Fed med. What's the name? John Gotti was there, and the guy who tried to blow up the Twin Towers the first time was there. You know,
Hmm.
they put anybody.
Oh, was that Timothy McVeigh or something like that?
No, there's some Muslim that tried to blow up the Twin Towers from the bottom the first time.
I thought that was an American who did that.
No,
Timothy
Timothy
McVeigh.
did Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I'm talking about.
Oh, that's right, Oklahoma. Yeah, I don't
No,
remember who did it the first time.
they tried to blow up the Twin Towers from the bottom one time. They caught that cheap dude or whatever.
They got a federal prison in Illinois. The whole prison is underground.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, it's like a federal supermax. It's I think it's called Tams.
Kind of like that movie John Travolta was in, or not John Travolta, but Stallone and Schwarzenegger were.
Yeah, Escape or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Well, that's what it is. There's literally you don't get no sunlight. It's a maximum level. It's not I think the most secure one's in Colorado. It's underground too. But yeah, you don't get sunlight there ever.
It's about like they raise animals now in a cage. Yeah,
It's worse than that. It's
I can't.
crazy.
Farms look like manufacturing plants now.
Shit. The way this penal system is, it's so inhumane. In 7 years, I spent over, I don't know, probably close to a year and a half in solitary confinement. That's just solitary confinement, what they consider punishment. That doesn't count the rest of the time you spend confined, with no real contact, or so devoid of, the only emotion expressed in there is anger and rage. See no love or anything like that being passed around in there. It's
No,
it's a strange environment. Ain't no rehabilitation to be found within those walls, I can tell you that.
yeah, no, it's crazy. Seems like you just get more thug skills, and
Hmm. Learn how to be a better criminal.
yeah, I know people that used to go to rehab because they had to, and they'd say they always meet a new connection every time they go to one of those places.
Yeah, and learn how to avoid getting caught up.
I had a buddy once got caught smoking weed in the park, and he had to go to classes for it. And he went the first day stoned, and when he got in there, the instructor dragged him to the front of the class and say, "This is what you don't do your first day of drug class." Come to class stoned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But what it was, he told him they asked him who he got it from, and he told him this dorky kid that never even did drugs. And I guess they watched that guy for a while and figured out it wasn't him. And they came and arrested him. You know what I mean?
Brainbug was on there earlier wanting to get in, but I don't think he's in the chat anymore.
Oh, you know, I would have let him. I wasn't there. I was trying to figure something out.
Yeah, yeah, I know you were. I figured there was something going on.
You know, I never had any trouble ever until just the last few months on StreamYard. Never, ever had any trouble.
I don't know how you get kicked out of your own stream. That's mind blowing.
It just kicks me out, and then I have to try to go back in. And a lot of times it just sits there and buffers, won't let me in.
But
That's stupid.
I
You
can
guys
still
can
sit
keep going
here.
through my phone, but I can't get back on with my phone. Does
You
that
know
make
what's
any sense?
crazy? Because if I was up to no good, I mean, I could like totally just be bogus to you, and there ain't
Oh, I
nothing you
know.
can do because you can't even get back in your stream. That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
know. I've had people on there for hours without me before, but I knew it. I mean, I was like, I'm gonna go to the store. I'll be back later. Go ahead and have fun. Because if you have people up on the panel, you should be able. You shouldn't have them up here unless you trust them. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm just saying, the idea and concept behind the fact that you get kicked out of your own stream and you essentially don't have a lot of control over what's happening. I mean, that's pretty trippy.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild. David Devine's streaming right now too.
Who's that? I'm not sure I know who that is.
Yeah, he comes here. He plays guitar. He used to play with.
Oh
Got the
yeah,
band.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rex is in there too, and somebody named Yeedy. I didn't even know he was on. Yeah,
Well, I
he
think
started. He's kind of like you. He came up on my streams first, and then he started doing his own thing.
yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. You guys certainly help get my channel up and running. That's for sure. Played a pretty big part in that. It's been a pretty wild ride so far. More twists and turns than I ever expected.
Yeah,
I've been
there's
so
so much
removed
going
from
on
this.
there. I had no clue that it was like drama on YouTube. I had no idea until I saw a live
Yeah,
stream.
yeah, right. I didn't even know live streams existed where just normal people until I ran across you in Michigander, and it was just a random thing that popped up because I always would search on music, and it just came across on the home screen as a suggested feed. It was yours. I looked at it, and I'm like, well, these dudes are sitting here doing bong rips, playing guitar, and they're just like buddies, just hanging out. I'm like, this is cool as shit. I didn't know you could do this on YouTube.
Yeah, I've been doing it for. Well, I was on YouTube streaming in Ponce de Leon on a squash mission with this other guy on some land his uncle bought in World War II, and my stream ended, and then it said you had to have 1,000 subscribers to stream live. So then I couldn't stream anymore until I got 1,000 subscribers because I didn't know nothing about StreamYard or none of that shit. So I just started streaming live on Facebook until I got my sub.
Huh. Yeah, I think we just hit like over 200 subs
Yeah, I
in
thought it was 200. I saw that.
2 months or so. December 17th is when we started.
Well, whenever I got that deal, where I had to be live, it took me a year, and I got to 1,000, so it took me a year.
That's wild.
Peanuts live too. I don't know who. There's a lot of people. I know like 10 people live right now. Like,
What are you talking about? The net house?
yeah, and that's where Bright went. Bright's over there.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'm gonna
Tiffany.
get off. I'm gonna have to get off here for too long. I got family in town this weekend.
Okay, so two tall Robs over there, but he can't. He doesn't come to my chats because I blocked him. I got tired of hearing about apple fritters. I got burnt out on them. I mean, it's like, there's some people they'll come up on your panel, and if they can't talk, they'll just leave.
Looks like Nez is live too.
Yeah, there's like so many people live right now. What time is
Yeah,
it? Yeah, I
it
think
is.
I might come back later. You know what I
It's
mean?
almost midnight. I just got to keep it quiet because I got company here. I don't want to keep them up all night. They're trying to sleep.
Well, there's nobody left in here that'll come up on panel, and I'm not gonna sit by myself. Like, I might for a minute, but
Yeah, 10-4. All right,
I'm gonna
brother.
go.
Well,
Surfing the net. I like frog jumping back and forth through different streams.
yeah, I'll do that tonight, but I'll just stay off the live stream, so I'll keep my company. Let them rest. I got a loud ass voice anyway. It kind of echoes through the house.
Oh, I can't. That's why in the summer, as soon as my roommate gets home, I leave and stay gone until they have to go to work, and then I come back.
Well, yeah, that's cool. You guys got a kind of mutual understanding that works out for you both.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for having me on again, Sasquatch.
yeah, I appreciate it. I'll see you. Are you gonna do something tomorrow?
We might do. Well, I'm going to be working tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. It's supposed to rain all morning, so I'll probably just do some editing or research in the morning, and then later in the afternoon. We'll probably do
How
some more
many,
time lapse.
how many acres do you have there?
Just a hair under 13.
Is it mountainous or is any of it flat? I mean, is a lot of it flat or is it all like?
No. It's like one whole side of a mountain. The
Yeah,
steepest angle once you get closer to the top, it's probably a 50 to 60 degree angle. It's steep,
have you got
but
any water on it or a pond or anything?
no, there's springs on it, but there's no flowing creeks or ponds. I
That's
could
nice.
make one. I could make it. There's places where I could easily build an earthen dam and make a small pond with
Yeah,
no problem. Um,
or
but yeah,
coastal.
it's there's a lot of it's real walkable. And there's plenty of flat area that when they built the house,
What about
someone
tree?
brought
What kind of trees do you got?
every kind you can imagine.
You
You
got
know,
mushrooms and berries and all that shit too.
yeah, we got blackberries, we got muscadine grapes that someone planted, we got apple trees and peach
Wow.
trees and um, what else we got?
We always had cherry, apple, and pear and peach in our yard. You know, everybody planted fruit trees back in the
Yeah,
day.
we got mint growing all over the place. There's lemon balm growing. There's quite a bit of stuff already here, and it's when this place was built. Someone brought a bulldozer in and leveled off areas for growing food. So there's a lot of places to grow food. Like in total, there's probably just under an acre that you could plant. But that's, dude, you can get. I mean, that's like a acre is roughly a football field. So
How long have you lived there?
I've only been here since July.
Oh, of last year.
Yeah, I haven't even been
Oh
here a
wow!
year yet. Like 8 months.
Yeah, you haven't even got started.
Yeah, I didn't. I got here so late in the season, and I was recovering from some surgery, so I didn't really do a whole lot for the first 4 or 5 months we were here.
It'd be nice though to be able to have like you get to start fresh and make everything that's there is be yours.
Yeah, it's pretty much a blank slate. I mean, there's a lot of potential. I mean, there's some good old growth trees. I want to build a tree house that you could actually like stay the night in, and
How
then
long had it been since somebody lived there? Did they live there right before you bought it?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it might have been vacant for 6 months or a year, maybe. There was a gentleman that had it passed away, and then his family sold it, and then a different guy bought it. Kind of got it, repainted and looking good, redid countertops, things like that, and that's the guy I bought it from. So I never met the people
Does
who.
it have a basement?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's got a full
Right on.
basement.
Right
Actually,
on.
it's got a garage too that's underneath the house
Oh
because
yeah.
of it being because it's being built on a hillside. So
Yeah.
the
Well,
driveway
you ain't
goes
got to worry
around.
about the basement flooding, then, do you?
No. We're
Hey,
1,700
that's a
feet.
big plus, man. That's a big plus because eventually they all leak. You know what I
We're
mean?
1,700 feet above sea level, but as far as up in the mountains, the nearest river that could potentially flood is probably 600 to 700 feet below us.
Oh yeah.
So it would have to be Noah's Ark kind of flood
And that's all
for
right.
it.
You're on a solid foundation. You might get to watch a lot of shit from where you're sitting.
Yeah, we got a real good vantage point, especially at the top of the ridge, because the property is
Does it end on your
uh,
property?
what's that?
Is there
The
only one
ridge?
way in and one way out, or does it go through?
Well, my driveway, there's only one way in and one way out, but
Okay, okay.
the road coming up is a couple ways in and out. But if things ever got real crazy, I could shut down the whole mountain in a matter of minutes. Just go and take
That's
my.
what I'm talking about right
Yeah,
there.
oh yeah, no, and it's a 1 lane road coming all the way up the mountain.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It don't take much to knock a few trees down, keep people.
exactly, I keep a chainsaw ready to go if I need to shut the road down or even shut my driveway down, because the main road where I live on, it's not a main road. It's a little bitty 1 lane gravel road up in the middle of nowhere. But
I love
uh,
dropping trees like you did and go in there and just clean it up. And you get carried
yeah,
away sometimes. You can keep going. You can drop a lot of shit if you ain't careful.
yeah. Well, that one I played earlier today. The one we did time lapse today, and then I did a short one where I made those little benches.
Yeah, so
There's a
the
whole
dog came
area.
up and looked at the camera, like all the way down there and looked at it.
Yeah, the little puppy. He about knocked it over.
That's cool.
A little butthead.
What was
He
the
sees
temperature?
that.
Are you getting in the 40s and 50s today?
Oh no, what was the temp today? It was like 60 something, wasn't it?
Oh wow.
It was cold at first, but then it warmed up a little bit. I think we started out in the mid 40s, upper 40s, and then it got right around 60. I think I didn't look at the temperature, but I was out there in a t-shirt almost the entire time, and I never once got cold.
If you're outside and sweating, you got too much on. That's what they always say.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I sweat a little bit, but I had a long sleeve shirt on when I first started, but I took that off and I had just t-shirt on, and
Yeah, if
it
you
was
start moving
beautiful.
around, it warms you up quick. I always try
Was
to
it?
jog,
I
do
think it was
something.
yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was 65.
We had 73 one day, and within 24 hours, it was 14.
Yeah, I think the coldest it's been since we've been here is I think 24 or 25. I think it's the coldest it's been.
We were like 10 degrees below with wind chill, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it don't get like that here. We
No,
got a
you're like,
bigger mountain on the it's back to the west, so we're on the protected side of a bigger mountain. So when the storms and stuff come in and the cold fronts, it hits this bigger mountain and it kind of breaks it apart and pushes it around us. So we're in an area that's really protected from the harsh stuff. It's kind of cool. Some of the surrounding towns and counties we're getting hammered with rain and stuff, but that big mountain that's on the other side of us, it breaks a lot of that stuff apart. You still there, Sasquatch? Did you get kicked off your stream again? Hello. We just fell into the twilight zone again, y'all. Yep, and he got kicked off again. All right, Sasquatch, I'm gonna sign off for the night, brother. God bless you. God bless all y'all who came and hung out with us this evening. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all your time. Hope y'all have a blessed evening and a blessed weekend. Love you, brother Sasquatch. We'll catch you sometime tomorrow. We'll be doing something.